Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. ASMR. I think I said that funny. I picked up a USA today at the 7-Eleven and thought we could just kind of flip through it and see what's up. What's up? Thank you to everybody who subscribes or even becomes a member. I really appreciate you all. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It kind of helps me out. And if you know anyone who you could share with that you think would be interested, that'd be great too. I don't ever ask those things, but YouTube says I should. I do have a membership level too, just to help support if you're interested, called No Frills Support Group. Anyway, all right, what do we have? Home test for colon cancer cut doctors out. These have been around forever. That's that Cologuard, isn't it? I heard that they don't. See, some people are using them in place of a colonoscopy when they turn 50, but it doesn't, I don't think it's not as accurate or it encompass as much as a colonoscopy. So it might be good for certainly if you have no other option, it'd be better. But I think if you have insurance and you can get a colonoscopy, that's better. And it's really not as bad as everybody makes it out, honestly. They give you like propofol or whatever, and you go, oh, and then you wake up and you're like, okay, it's all over. The worst part is the prep, but I don't even mind that. I don't care, whatever. Physician says mail-in options can confuse and worry patients. Oh, okay, what are they saying? Jeff Smith was dumbfounded when he received a colon cancer screening kit in the mail. The 68-year-old Minnesota man hadn't asked for the Cologuard test, and his doctor hadn't mentioned anything about it. And why in the world would he need such a test? Smith has lived most of his life without a colon. Then he probably doesn't. As a child, he had ulcerative colitis, an inflammatory bowel disease. Doctors removed his colon. So they're just sending him out to people to try to get him to take it? That's sketchy. What? Smith's experience, which included additional uncomfortable testing after he completed the kit, has some doctors worried about the idea of mailing tests to patients without consulting their doctor first. Early detection of colon cancer is crucial. It's the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. Wow. With nearly 53,000 people projected to die from it in 2025, says the American Cancer Society. But the disease is highly treatable if caught early. Huh. Interesting. But it's so it's like good because it could pick it up early, but they're just sending it out to everybody, even if maybe they don't need it. So then they do it, and interesting. All right, what's this? Shoppers are turning to prepared meals more. Rotisserie chickens are growing in popularity as diners seek savings and convenience. Well, they're at my grocery store. These are stinking expensive. You can buy and they're dinky. You could buy like a fryer chicken that's way bigger and cook it yourself. But if you have Costco, then they're a pretty good deal. But I don't really like I think their rotisserie chickens are I don't know. I don't like them all that much, to be honest. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. I swear our store, I think these are now like $10.99 for like a dinky chicken. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more expensive now to buy the even, uncooked ones. I just don't buy them much anymore because, I don't know, my husband gets weird about the bones. The chicken, I think I have to cut it for him and lay it out. You've all met him now. You know what I'm talking about. So I usually get the, frozen chicken tenders and cook those. And then you know how those chicken tenders have that little, gristly bit on the end of them? I just cut that off before I give it to him. Otherwise, you'll be like, there's something weird in my chain. Anyway, don't tell him I said that. Competition for a share of the stomach heats up. When Sydney Martin is looking for a quick and affordable dinner for her mom and daughter, she is increasingly stopping by the grocery store to pick up a prepared meal. It might be rotisserie chicken, pot pie, or stuffed salmon, and she will make the sides at home. I feel like it's cheaper than buying it to go. The amount you're going to spend with fast food prices. I don't know. I question this because our store has like these prepared, even Target has them now, these like prepared dinners. Maybe it's a better deal, but I feel like it's like, I don't know. Our one store has like dinner and then 2 sides and bread. And I think it's like $29 or something. And I feel like I could order from like the Thai restaurant and get a couple of meals for that. And it would, I don't know, maybe, I guess it's about the same, whatever. I don't know. I usually cook. I feel like it's cheaper than buying it. Okay. Consumers are looking for convenience, so we think our industry is really poised to be a great solution. All right. Is it that people just don't really know how to cook anymore, or what? Or they don't? Because it doesn't really take much more time, I don't think, if you're actually heating the stuff up. But that's just me. I don't know. Wanted. Generals in the mold of Patton. Hegseth seeks to clear way for hard chargers. Defense Secretary. Well, isn't it called the Department of War now? So would he be War Secretary? I don't know. Pete Hegseth wants military officers to take risks again, and history may be on his side. A case in point, the day a 31-year-old U.S. Army lieutenant assigned to hunt Mexican rebel General Pancho Villa was ordered to buy corn, taking 10 soldiers and 3 cars. After dutifully securing the corn in the spring of 1916, Second Lieutenant George Patton went rogue. He followed a hunch that Villa's second-in-command was holed up in a nearby ranch. 3 horsemen burst forth from the ranch, setting off a flurry of gunfire. The outcome? Patton fatally shot Villa's deputy. The future general triumphantly returned to headquarters with his rebel leader's body strapped to the hood of his car. This was neither the first nor the last time Patton took unauthorized action, but in that era, General John Pershing promoted the young officer instead of punishing him. When Pershing crossed the Atlantic Ocean in 1917 to lead the American Expeditionary Force in the grinding trench of warfare of World War I, he appointed Captain Patton to lead the force's experimental tank school. Patton wrote the Army's tank fighting rules and ultimately became a decisive battlefield commander during World War II. So Hegseth is looking for more steel-jawed generals. Standing before an American flag backdrop, reminiscent of the opening speech in 1970 biopic Patton. Yeah, you remember that. Okay, experts debunk booking myths that don't save you money. Some travelers may think they need to follow long-standing travel hacks to score the cheapest price on airfare. Okay, my sister always wants to wait until the last minute to book a flight because she thinks from old days that will get her a cheaper deal. And I'm always like, no, like book it now, especially like Southwest. You can rebook and then they give you points like credit if the price goes up or comes down, I guess. And so I'm like, just book it. But she'll wait and wait and wait, and then she'll end up paying too much. Every now and then she gets a deal. But is it better to book travel on Tuesday? That's what they always say. Do you save money booking far in advance? I think so. Travel experts say these common beliefs are incorrect, noting there are better ways to find deals. So maybe I'm the one who's wrong, but so far I haven't been. I always get a better deal. Hold on, I want to know. 5B. Whoops, this is B. That's D. Wait, where's B? Am I crazy? C, B. And these are weird. These sections are weird. 4B. Here we go. 2 experts debunk the most popular ones. Myth 1, booking travel on Tuesdays is cheaper. So that's a myth. And what else is a myth? Myth 2, incognito mode, private browsing lowers prices than my normal browser. I think it should say more than my normal. Okay, I have tried that and I never really... It does seem like, though, sometimes if you look it up and look it up again and look it up again, it goes up. So that's why you do incognito. It doesn't matter what day of the week I fly. That, yeah. I mean, like on Southwest, they have a low price finder and you can put the whole month in and pick the days, you know. Myth 4, booking as far in advance saves money. I do kind of think this. People often think they need to book incredibly early to secure the best deal, but there's no need to do so. Prices for most trips are set high initially to capture early demand. I don't know. I've gotten some pretty good deals, I feel like. I'm not sure. Ooh, what is that? Let's look at that one. Okay. What else have we got here? Oh my gosh. Judge reverses special education layoffs, says shutdown being used for political gains. A federal judge has temporarily paused the education department's decision to lay off nearly everyone in its special education division. What? I didn't know about that. Judge Susan Ilston in the Northern District of California issued the ruling October 15th. It applies to the education department firings as well as thousands of others that swept through the federal workforce over the weekend. In a court hearing, Ilston blasted the White House, accusing President Donald Trump of using the government shutdown for political reasons. It's very much ready, fire, aim on most of these programs, she said. Ready, fire, aim. It's a human cost that cannot be tolerated. The roles of the fired staffers ran the gamut. They oversaw programs in all sorts of areas, including for historically black colleges and universities, tribal colleges, charter schools, gifted and talented students, homeless students, civil rights enforcement, and more. Okay, well, it's nerve-wracking. Military families in paycheck limbo. Shutdown forces many into financial hardship. I'm doing this volunteer at the food bank, and people, donate like bulk food. So you take them out of the bulk packaging and put it into bags for people. But already the need is going up because of, I don't know for sure if it's just, I don't know what it is, but it could be, government workers who aren't getting paid are needing some help. So that's kind of scary. But I'm not saying for sure that's what it is, but it could be. As the days tick down to October 15th, military families in Hampton Roads, Virginia, eyed their bank accounts with growing apprehension. Most military service members are paid bi-monthly. They receive their paychecks October 1st. Well, I think that Trump is going to pull money from something else to give to the military. But they're all the other federal workers. I'm not sure why they're just saying military. Because, I don't know. Okay, Trump considering land strikes against cartels. What does that mean? President Trump said he's considering U.S. military strikes on land targets to combat the flow of drugs from Venezuelan cartels into the United States after 5 maritime attacks in recent weeks on suspected drug smuggling boats. We are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. Am I confusing that? Didn't he just Trump give a bunch of money to Venezuela? Like, a lot. I'm not really sure what's going on here, and I don't know. Trump made the remarks after the New York Times reported the Trump administration has secretly authorized the CIA to conduct covert action in Venezuela in an escalation of its campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's regime. Trump confirmed the report, saying the action is in response to Venezuelan migrants and drugs entering the United States. Asked by a reporter whether the CIA has authority to take out Maduro, Trump responded, "Wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela is feeling the heat." The U.S. military on October 14th carried out its 5th attack on a boat in the Caribbean Sea since September, killing 6 people. Trump said each were narco-terrorists trying to bring illegal narcotics into the U.S. In all, 26 people have been killed in 5 boat attacks. Trump, in February, designated some drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, a move administration officials argue gives them legal justification for the strikes. Yeah, I don't think they're legally allowed to make these strikes without Congress giving them the authority to do that. Is that right? I don't know, something like that. But the Trump administration has yet to deliver evidence to Congress supporting claims that the boats were carrying narcotics. Yeah, these are illegal things. Democrats and other opponents have questioned the legal basis for Trump to use the military to strike boats that don't pose an immediate threat of attack, even if they are carrying drugs. I'm wondering, I'm taking a cruise in the Caribbean. Look, it's all about me. But in, I forget, January, February, and I'm feeling a little nervous. Will there be repercussions? I don't know. I haven't heard anyone say anything about that, but I do wonder. Trump, if he doesn't win, we're not going to waste our time. U.S. president has keen eye on Argentine election. I don't know what this is about. President Trump hosted Argentine President Javier Milei at the White House on October 14th, days after the administration announced a $20 billion bailout for his country. Oh, it's Argentina. Sorry, not Venezuela. He gave Argentina $20 billion bailout. What? That seems crazy. $20 billion Trump sent to Argentina as a bailout. What is that? What is that about? Trump has described Milei, I think that's what I'm saying that right, as his favorite president, and the eclectic leader has drawn comparisons to Trump. Milei has repeatedly wielded a chainsaw on stage. Oh, I remember this guy, to promote slashing spending. Didn't Elon Musk do that too, with a chainsaw? But his agenda, which also includes deregulation and free market reform, has led to a volatile peso currency and seen investors aggressively dump Argentine stocks and bonds. I don't even know. Voters will deliver their verdict on Milei's party since he took office in December 2023 at the Argentine midterm elections for legislature later this month. Why is Trump bailing out Argentina? Okay, let's find out. Argentina is in a deepening economic crisis with a volatile currency, the Argentine peso. According to a blog published by the Council on Foreign Relations, the ins and outs of the crisis are complicated, but undergirding it all is the fact that the country is running out of hard currency. Trump denied that money was politically motivated when a reporter asked on October 14th, instead saying, "It's really meant to help a good financial philosophy, and we can help our neighbors." The Trump administration has also argued the financial crisis in the region could affect other countries in the region. Okay. The U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said that the United States economic lifeline for Malays country will take the form of a currency swap with Argentina's central bank. That's a move that amounts to effectively exchanging stable U.S. dollars for volatile pesos. 20 billion. Bessent on Fox News, the Ingram angle, last week denied that it was a bailout, according to Reuters. However, the CFR article said it meets the standard qualifications to be considered a bailout. Reuters reported he said the assistance was strategic for the United States for its openness to allow U.S. companies to develop rare earths and uranium resources, and Malays promise to get China out of Argentina. Phew. Reactions to it. Who is this guy, the president there? Okay. Skull found on Indiana riverbank, maybe over 4,000 years old. Whoa. A human skull dating back millennia was discovered on a riverbank in eastern Indiana. Do they show it? That's it? What? Was it, did a kid find it? Fayette County Coroner Eddie Richardson said a skull found over the summer has been dated back to 2300 BC, making it approximately 4,270 years old. The announcement was made Monday. This matter with care. Where did it come from? The skull was recovered on June 2nd by a local landowner on a bank of the Whitewater River. The resident described as an avid collector of Native American artifacts. So was he looking for artifacts? Did he know what he had found? Probably not. The coroner's office determined the item was a human skull and sought to determine its age, collaborating with several experts who conducted analysis using radiocarbon dating and other tools. I was going to do an episode on radiocarbon dating. That's like really interesting. The skull was first sent to Dr. Krista Latham, a forensic anthropologist at University of Indianapolis Human Identification Center. Wow. So is this one of those things where like the guy who found it's going to be like, hey, it's mine. But I don't know that you can, I don't think you can sell like human remains. Like it's not like a dinosaur bone where maybe you could sell it or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a collector. Anyway, they don't say how he feels about it. I don't know. All right. Mosquito-borne virus reported in New York City. Chikungunya I feel like I've heard this word and I can't remember. Disease was acquired locally. The first mosquito-borne case infected in Long Island. What happens if you got it? Given the much colder nighttime temperatures, the current risk in New York is very low. What are the symptoms? Include fever, joint pain, headache, muscle pain, joint swelling, and rash, according to the Center for Disease Control. Symptoms usually appear between 3 and 7 days. That's a long time to know whether that's what caused it, isn't it? I got stung by a bee on my forehead. Was it yesterday? Yesterday or the day before. Kind of my fault. I've gotten so comfortable. I have a beehive, and I've been feeding them what's called like a thick sugar right now before the fall. And so I open it and I have mason jars in the top part of the beehive. I don't know how to explain that, but And I open it, and I usually use like a piece of wood to kind of slide over it so not many bees come out. But I kind of screwed it up. I don't know, and a bunch of bees came out. But this one got caught in my hair. And once they're caught in your hair, it's like you cannot get them out. Like in my long hair, I couldn't find it. I tried for like 3 minutes. Finally, I ran up front and I said to Greg, I'm like, I gotta be in my hair. And so he tried getting it out, and he flipped my hair like forward to try to get underneath. And when he flipped it, the bee went right on my forehead and stung me. I go, I found him. But now it's all swollen. Hey, look. Speaking of bees, there they are. Image of the week. I could take that image for them. I could do better. Okay. The Arc de Trump. President has a new project. Wants Arc to serve as a gateway to Washington. Call it the Arc de Trump. Is he like saying that, or are they just saying that? President Trump holds a model of an arch monument during a ballroom dinner in the East Room at the White House in Washington, D.C. So it's like the one in France, Paris, or whatever. Okay, whatever. Types of prepared meals at the grocery store have expanded. That's that article. Colon cancer. Okay. Week in review. Time is short for coral reefs. Scientists have warned about climate tipping points for years. And now they say we've reached one, and perhaps even passed it. Rising temperatures are wiping out the planet's coral reefs, and the dieback may be irreversible, according to Second Global Tipping Points report. Marine ecosystems and hundreds of millions of people depend on the reefs for survival. Change is happening fast now, tragically, said Tim Letton of University of Exeter in England. Other planetary tipping points: melting ice sheets, dying Amazon rainforest, and collapsing ocean currents. Yep. Okay, ice gets an eyeful in Portland. Portland, Oregon is in a state of emergency, activists say, and emergencies demand drastic action. So hundreds of people jumped on their bicycles naked, oh my God, or at least partially naked, October 12th to protest Trump's administration's plan to send troops to the city, which has been torn for weeks by ICE protests. Naked bike rides as a form of protest are not uncommon, and in Oregon, public nudity is considered a legal form of protest. Inconveniently, however, it rains a lot in Portland. Nevertheless, spectator Jennifer Freakman. Okay, Jennifer. She's a spectator of people riding their bikes naked, and her name is Jennifer Freakman. She's 70. In tears as riders rolled by, told USA Today, "Damn, this is a good place to live." I imagine Jennifer sitting there like with a whiskey and a cigarette. Jennifer Freakman, damn, it's a good place. Okay, old phones worth the wait. Not everyone has to get their greedy little hands on the latest smartphone, it turns out. A new survey by mobile services site review.org, whatever, finds the average U.S. consumer keeps a phone for almost 2.5 years. I keep them that long, but I also buy them, used, so they're old to begin with. I don't care at all. Sure signs of changing season. Yeah. Honeybees suck in the nectar in Fort Myers, Florida, as the region's dry season begins ahead of winter. In states farther north, frost alerts ushered in the end of growing season. Yeah, I'm feeding the bees now, but I gotta figure out, because I've never wintered bees before. It's my first year, so I have to figure out what to do to prepare them, because you wrap the hives like with a thermal kind of blanket and get some fondant. It's like the stuff they put on cake, like sugar, and you can lay that in there for them to eat, and then you close them in there once it gets really cold, they're just stuck in there. But I don't know much about that yet. I have to read up on it. Trump. Was that cover photo rigged? What? President Trump says Time magazine's cover photo for its November 10th issue didn't capture his good side, perhaps on purpose. Okay. Cold showers don't faze Bears kicker. What? As is often said in football, such is life of NFL kicker. The Chicago Bears newly signed Jake Moody had only hours to gather himself after finding out he'd be filling in for injured Cairo Santos in the Monday night matchup. Oh, he hardly slept, took an ice shower under a tricky hotel showerhead, then nailed a walk-off 38 goal. Yeah, yeah, they were talking about that during the game. Nailed a walk-off 38-yard field goal in the rain and wind to lift his teammates to a 25-24 win. It was pretty good. I watched it. It was pretty good. Okay. New forecast shows how much cold and snow winter we'll see. You mean beside the Farmer's Almanac? Okay. Why do monster murderers obsess us? Oh, this is about that. Yeah, this guy played him. Oh, hold on. I can't say that I recommend this show. I saw one more episode. Greg and I did a little video. We were testing the mics and just kind of talked about it a little bit, but it's so icky, disturbing, ugh, I don't know. And the big problem with this is just so you know, this is a Netflix show that's out right now about Ed Gein, who is the, one of the original that they knew about, real sicko killer, Dave Grave Digger people. I don't know what. He was a murderer too. He did a lot of gross stuff. I won't go into it. But one of the problems though, they're kind of telling his story. Some of it's true, but then they go off on these parts of the story where they've just made stuff up and not added characters because they are real people, but added stories that are not, I don't think they're true at all, with his girlfriend, and there's just a lot of things that you're and I don't know. But then parts of it is just his imagination because he's schizophrenic. So is the girlfriend part I don't know. Anyway, whatever. All right. We're not going to talk about that. What is this? President Trump send troops to my Asheville. I didn't know he was sending them to Asheville. I did not know that. In my hometown of Asheville, North Carolina, we're pretty used to getting picked for all the things. Beer City, USA, the nicest place in America, hippest place to drive an electric car with a fancy mountain bike hitched on the back. This is opinion piece. With population of fewer than 100,000, we punch above our weight in terms of cool liberal cities. Looking at you, Boulder, Colorado. That's why I'm writing this as an open letter to President Donald Trump, demanding to know why Portland, Oregon gets troops and we don't. Okay, so he wants them. Also, I wouldn't presume to challenge your assessment that liberal municipalities present a serious national security threat. What with us not hiding our homeless people well enough? But maybe after you've had the National Guard march around different cities, they could come help Americans really living in war-ravaged conditions. On behalf of blue cities feeling left out of troop deployment. Although, to be truly honest, I don't really think the National Guard would have a lot of troopy things to do here. But what would they be doing in Portland? Drinking kombucha? Getting tattoos? Asheville's kombucha and tattoo artists are better, by the way. I think this letter is tongue-in-cheek. All right. Skechers Cozy Fit. and money. Slapping Julia Roberts. Not ideal for Eddie Burry. I know I should know how to say that. Eddie Burry. I know I should know how to say that. Anyway, how was your day? Holmes and Roebuck engaged. I know I've heard like on my podcast they talk about, but I don't know who they are. Michael McKean, who was Lenny and Squiggy, he turns 28, not 28, 78. Black Phone 2 star Ethan Hawke talks England Freddy Krueger comparison. I haven't seen these movies. Are they any good? Because it is spooky season. I watch spooky stuff. Sheriff Country star battles crime, missing her kids. Don't know that one. BIA drops album, talks collab, and Cardi B. Marvel reveals trailer for Vision Quest. Vision Quest, that was a movie in the 80s. Solo traveler keeps on traveling. It would be hard kind of to travel solo because things would cost more. I mean, if you have somebody else, you can share the cost of everything, you know what I mean? Like the room and everything. Maybe not. Oh, look, that's cool. She's on a bike thing. Ghostly voices still making noise. What is this? TN's Bell Witch Cave. Oh, Tennessee's. Bell Witch Cave draws visitors more than 200 years after the legend began. Wait, should I go there? Where is it? Where is it? Is it close to Nashville or? A hush fell over my tour group inside the dimly lit cave on Tennessee farmland. Let's just take a moment or two to get quiet and see if we hear anything. Our guide told us inside the Bell Witch Cave in early October, which along with the surrounding property was the site of a legendary ghost story. I feel like I've heard this. I think I've heard this story. What is this story? The Bell Witch story dates back to 1800s. But still draws visitors from all over the world to the tiny city of Adams, Tennessee, especially in October as Halloween draws near. John Bell and his family lived peacefully on farmland near the Red River until 1817. According to the historic Bell Witch Cave website, that summer they reported seeing strange wildlife on the property, including a black dog with the head of a jackrabbit and the tail of a deer. Trying to picture that. I don't know if I'd notice a deer tail on a dog. I think they look alike. Another tour guide told my group eerie sounds in their cabin followed. The sounds the family heard escalated to a voice speaking directly to them until it could be heard in every room of the house, while especially terrorizing John's youngest daughter, Betsy, with beatings that left her unconscious. I don't like that, because I don't think a ghost did that. The spirit became known as the Bell Witch and reportedly took credit for John Bell's death in 1820. His family believed he had been poisoned by the spirit. The spirit continued to lurk on the property for several months, and it's said to have returned at least once, visiting John Bell Jr. 7 years later. Okay, I got another idea for this. I think John Bell, the dad, may have had some kind of mental, schizophrenia or something, thought he heard voices, and he told people that story, but he was going around beating his kids, and so the wife poisoned him. And then she said, yeah, it was definitely the Bell Witch that did it. And everybody in town went, seems about right. Because they knew he was crazy. That's my take on the story. 4 travel booking myths that don't save you. Oh, we already looked at that. What? How do we look at that? All right. Bell Witch. The Bell Witch Cave is located about 45 minutes by car from Nashville. I didn't think you were walking it. Okay. What is this? 50 states. do a speed read and see if we see anything. Alabama. All right, what are we looking at? We've got Alabama. Bessemer has landed in the national spotlight. Bessemer, Alabama is a place. Okay, I don't know. A new report by personal finance site WalletHub ranked the city as a worse small town to live in based on key quality of life indicators. Alaska, Juneau. Rescue crews in Alaska airlifted hundreds of people out of a remote village devastated by remnants of Typhoon Halong. I didn't know that. Tempe, Arizona State University opened a long-awaited research, development, and prototyping hub for semiconductor technology. That's good. Arkansas, Little Rock. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has scheduled a special election for Arkansas House District 70 on June 9th, drawing criticism from Democratic Party leaders who say the timeline violates state law and leaves tens of thousands of Arkansans without representation. California, Pasadena. NASA's famed Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena laid off more than 500 employees. Colorado. Fort Collins, already recognized as the most peaceful city in the U.S. to live by one website. Fort Collins was named the most peaceful place to visit in Colorado. If you live in Fort Collins, let me know. I've been there, but it's been years. Let's see. Connecticut. Youth Continuum announced that the organization is closing by the end of the year due to financial challenges after decades of serving unhoused youths in New Haven. Oh, that's too bad. Wilmington, Delaware. Ezion Fair Baptist Church is celebrating the near completion of a $3.9 million affordable housing development designed for seniors in Wilmington. That seems good. District of Columbia. Ooh, what? A Republican congressman from Ohio has denounced the display of an American flag altered to reveal a swastika inside his Washington, D.C. office, calling it a vile and deeply inappropriate symbol that is now under investigation by the U.S. Capitol Police. American flag altered to reveal a swastika. Okay, Florida, Tallahassee. Okay, we can't read all these because there's too many things to read. Some things that make the news, like in Idaho, they're opening a chicken finger restaurant. Okay. Okay. I don't know why. Raising Massachusetts, Worcester. 2 unions claim there's a crisis at state-operated psychiatric hospitals due to a large influx of forensic patients. What does that mean, forensic patients? The court system is sending these patients to hospitals where there's not enough staff to handle overcrowding. Oh boy, I don't know. Michigan, Laketown Township. Something about their trash isn't passing the smell test. It says Mississippi's having a state fair. Helena, Montana. A federal judge in Montana threw out a lawsuit by youth activists seeking to block President Donald Trump's pro-fossil fuel energy policies, saying it asked the court to take on a sweeping role overseeing potentially hundreds of government rules and regulations. This doesn't sound good. Nebraska auditor Mike Foley said the Karen Society, a nonprofit that helps refugees and immigrants from Burma, is improperly spending 99% of all government grant funding that it receives. That doesn't sound right. Nevada, Tonopah. The Trump administration has pulled the plug on its review of a massive joint solar project in Nevada that would have added up to be one of the largest continuous solar farms in the world, at least as it was envisioned. Nevada Current reported the Bureau of Land Management canceled an environmental review of the Esmeralda 7 solar project, a sprawling development of 7 geographically contiguous, I don't know, I say that word wrong, utility-scale solar projects that would cover more than 62,000 acres. Okay. Well, some of these are feel like local news stories, you know what I mean? Which I guess they are, but okay. Oof. Oh, that one's sad. I want to read that one. It says Meta, who owns Facebook, is going to build a $1.5 billion data center near El Paso, Texas. That's big. I bet that's huge for them. A recent study by Consumer Affairs has ranked Virginia as the fifth most Halloween-obsessed state. That's funny. West Virginia, Morgantown, Hyundai's Hope on Wheels campaign has awarded a $100,000 grant to West Virginia University Medicine Children's Hospital. Well, that's nice. Okay. Ew, I don't want to read that. That one's sad. Okay. The difference between seating on most airplanes. I guess these are first class, but that's not what my seats are really. When is it worth it to upgrade? Once you figure out what's actually being offered, it can be easier to decide if it's worth it. Oh yeah, sometimes the planes are so small, there's no difference really between the front, the business class, and they'll try to charge you like $70 more, but it's like the same thing. Maybe you get like a free drink or something.